And so again, right, the past, the present, and the future. Let's try to put the pieces together, right? Because our goal is to, I guess, look for a way to have a mindset where you're basing it from past, present, and the future, right? When you're basing from the past, it should not mess your thinking, right? Because the past contains the negatives or the regrets, right? Present contains controls, right? What you can do, right? And the future contains the changes, right? Or what else? The stuff that you can improve on, right? But all of it goes down to the present, right? The past should be a learning curve or a learning source, right? Present improves it, and future is the result of it, right? So when you are walking in this thing, you must have those. You must balance the three. You must not have enough regret from the past. You must have control in the present, and you must have a positive outlook for the future, right? So those three, because if you have um, regrets in the past or during, excuse me, when you have regrets when you are in the present moment, it's going to get heavy. Thus the present moment will shake off how you control things. Afterwards it will then affect your positive outlook towards the future, right? So if you're basing it from the past, it's going to contaminate. So if you're basing off from the past, it's going to contaminate your walk in the present moment, thus affecting your future, right? So you must have a, I guess, the right balance, right? Because you also need that taste of um, sorrow, not right, from the past, so you can be, because you need lessons, you need learnings, right, experience, so you can be more wiser while you are walking in the present, so you can have a better future, right? The past, now if you're basing off from the present, right, that's going to be a good thing because you're not entirely affected from the past and not anxious towards the future. So you need to always just remain grounded, or in other words, you need appreciation, gratitude, right? What do you have right now, right? Right now you have a roof on top of your head. You had your dinner, you had your lunch, right? That's something to be what? To be grateful for. See? That's something in the, excuse me, that is something that you are um remembering, so you can be, so you can have control with your mind or balance in your mind, because you're not shaking, you're not worried, right? Because you have the necessary needs, right? And that's something what to be appreciative for. See? And that's going to have a good flow towards what? The future, right? Because if it entangles, if because if the present entangles too much from the past, um, then it's going to affect your walk towards the future, right? So in the present moment, acknowledge or accept or embrace or a hug what you have, what you see, what you hear, what you know right now, right? You have a roof on top of your head, you have a job, you have a God, right? and he has laws, right? Statutes and commandments. And he has wisdom, right? And he shares his wisdom with you, right? What else, right? So you have your hobbies, right? we I like biking, so when I have time to bike, right, it calms my mind, and that's something to be grateful for, right? You see, the more we move in the more we nurture the present moment. That's how it continuously moves towards the future, right? And you moving, right, gives a positive movement towards the future. Because if you have a negative point of view, for example, what if it doesn't work, what if it goes out, right? At some point, it's the engine's going to run very, very slow or heavy, right? But if it's a positive what ifs, right, it's going to run well, right? It's going to function well towards what? The future. And that is something what? To be grateful for. So, you one thing to be walking in this path is to always have the present moment with you and not worried about the future, not regretting from the past, and just keep really moving, right? Diligence is in the present moment, right? Diligence keeps you moving, right? Keep your mind should be like a bicycle or a bike. When you have a bike, when you are riding a bike, your mind, when you are riding a bike, you have to keep your what? Balance, right? Balance is also control, right? If it's heavy, right, bike will go left or shake for a bit, right, until you get the hang of it. But if you have but if you have the right balance, right, it's going to what? Move, right? Towards its destination, right? And towards that destination, you're not going to go anywhere except the destination that you are trying to reach, and that destination is from the future, right? And so I guess to elaborate again, the present moment is to have diligence, right? Or effort. In other words, something must be moving, right? Take for example any appliances, right? It will always move, or it will always function. It's like your air conditioner, right? Or it's like your electric fan, right? It will always move, but it will not move if it's if it's broken or something like that. In our mind, compare that to our mind. If you don't have the right programming, it's not going to run well, right? So I guess uh when you are moving, right, in the present moment, movement should also have the right programming, right? In other words, the right meditation, right? If you have the right meditation, right, you can move well, right? it's like um it's like maintenance. If you don't have the right maintenance in your mind, it's not going to run well. So sometimes you have to check for a bit, and while you're checking at it, right, it's going to you need to go deep at some point, right? And that takes time, right, in the present moment. So that's something to be taken care of, right? So in the present moment, always move or diligent, or always have diligence, and have the right meditation or have the right programming. Install the right knowledge, install the right wisdom, right? What are you building, or what are you programming your mind for, right? Are you programming your mind for the better? Are you programming your mind towards a better future? See, that's something that you need to install or program in your mind. It's the same as, I guess, an example for a meditation or a programming is that um, motion kills emotion, right? Because a good goal is to become better spiritually, physically, and mentally, right? So, from a mental perspective, it's good to program your mind with the words motion kills emotion, right? Because not all emotions are good. It's the same as not all emotions are bad, right? So it just needs discipline, right? And in your motion or in your movement or in your diligence, there's discipline, right? Or I guess how I see discipline is like a steel, right? So once you have the steel, because a steel or a metal, right, regardless of whatever it is hitting, right, water or wind, it still stands. So it's the same as your um, walk, right? It must be built upon a steel, right? It's not affected by negative or positive emotions, right? That is coming from the flesh. So I guess our point is to really have discipline, right? Or self-control, because we can't manage everything all at once, right? It must be done in a singular fashion, right? So going from the present towards the future, right? We need to have discipline, but discipline is built with a controlled effort, movement, diligence. It must be singular, right? One goal. Right now the goal is to just develop and improve physically, spiritually, and mentally.